Sit down.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I certainly did. Of course, I mean, don't I always have good weekends? I don't. I mean, let's be honest. Does everybody always hit a home run over the weekend? Uh, I don't think so. And I don't always hit a home run, but I did have a very good weekend. So, went to a show yesterday and picked up some funny books. Sorry, I had to do a little bit of housekeeping there. So so I picked up some funny books at a show over the weekend. Let's say hi to everybody. AJ Tom in the house. What is up? Top of the morning to you as well. I cannot do an Irish accent, or I would. JP Roca, hello. Val, popping that link. Thank you very much. I popped it too. Good morning. Much smaller but fun. Lots of beer and hung out most of the time at the AEW booth. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Nice. That's very cool. What's up, Real Steve? Hello, Jeremy. Hello to you. Richard, good morning. I believe they can, but I'm not sure. Try it and find out, I guess. I mean, I already did, so it doesn't matter. But anyhow, good morning. Before I get to work today, actually, I got to take the car in. I got to take the car in later to get an oil change, have some brakes checked, tons of fun stuff. But today, with the news that came out last week, that George Perez announced that he has terminal pancreatic cancer, and he's decided to take the route of not doing chemo and all that stuff. And you know what? He'd rather just live life as best as he can. And, for the time he has, and enjoy it with his wife. And you know what? I respect the hell out of that. Obviously, I don't wish that type of stuff on anybody. My dad passed away back in 2015 from a different form of cancer, but still it was cancer. Cancer sucks. I've known people that have battled it and won. And then, of course, people that have not. But I thought, we would look at some George Perez stuff today because, I grew up in what I like to think of as George's really big heyday. Everybody has a period of time with an artist that they really connect to. and enjoy. And for me, it was, and I'll show you one of the first books I got of George's, and I want to switch my camera to look down on my desk, but for some reason my other camera is acting funky, so I'm just gonna have to hold stuff up. I got this when it came out as a kid, Focus on George Perez. This came out at the same time as Focus on John Byrne, and I actually just discovered there's a Focus on Jack Cole as well. So this came out in let's see, 1985. This came out in 1985. So in 1985, when this came out, I was a wee lad. Let me do this too. I'm going to do this. So now I can just do this, and you get to see my pretty face as well. So this came out in 1985. I always think of summertime when stuff comes out. So in 1985, in the summertime, I was 15 years old. Just 15. I know. I look 15 still, just a bald 15. But I was 15. And I remember this coming out and seeing this picture of George back here. Look at that. Thinking, man, that's an old dude. And, you know, in 1985, George was only 31 years old. So George, Val says, I guess George is going to be a topic today at Comicsgate Kings. I have no idea. Do you know something I don't? I honestly don't know. AJ says I have the best stuff. I have a big library. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. I'll find out tonight when we do the show. But anyhow, so George was 31. I mean, you know, as a 15-year-old, thinking of somebody at 31 is really like, wow, that's an old dude. But I mean, really, 16 years older than me? I don't know, you know, 16. I've got friends that are 14 years younger than me. So I was 15. George was just 16 years older than me when this came out, you know. And it's funny, I always think of when somebody gets older, that age gap kind of tightens up. I mean, George is still 16 years older than me, but I mean, I've been in the business for 30 years now. It just doesn't feel like it, you know. Well, hello there. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining. Talking about George Perez, one of my artistic influences and heroes. There's another great shot of George back in the day. I remember reading this as a kid and just really loving it. Nice shot of Daredevil with the nice detailed buildings back there. I remember reading this as a kid and thinking, wow, this guy's been in the business forever, when realistically, I think he broke into the business in like maybe 10 years before. I couldn't imagine in 2021, when I was in the business for 10 years and somebody doing, you know, Focus on Andy Smith or something like that, you know. So Heidi McDonald did the interview back then on this. I didn't realize she was around as long as she has. Says George got out of high school in like 1973, which makes sense. Here's a great shot. I'm going to show some cool shots from here. Here's a great shot of Wonder Woman from the book. And just so you know what the rest of the show is going to be, I'm going to go through this book some, showing some of my cool stuff. And then I'm going to go through, I pulled just a handful, 5 or 6 comic books from my collection that really had an impact on me when I was a kid of George's. Let's do a Focus on Andy Smith book. I agree. But, you know, the Focus on Andy Smith, it's not called Focus on Andy Smith, but commercial break, it is the Omnibus Press Black Book, The Art of Andy Smith. So that is kind of a Focus on Andy Smith. So you can get that as part of the campaign. So get yourself a First Man too. I love seeing stuff like this. Let's see. Here's a young George Perez in high school. Right there. That's George in high school. Look at that. Suit and tie in high school. Different times. I didn't wear a suit and tie to high school, that's for sure. Oh, actually, there's his graduation photo right there. So there's Mr. George high school graduation photo. Check that out. Right? Some high school drawings. I don't even know if I have high school drawings that could be shown. Then, of course, it shows, here's something early Perez action from Death Squad from a book called Factors Unknown, number 3. So hopefully that'll tighten the focus. Look at that. Early George Perez. I know there's a little mark above his name, but I pronounce it wrong. Didn't George do a load of work for the Marvel RPG? For the Marvel one? I think there was a DC one that he did work on. I'm not sure about a Marvel one. Here's a shot of a she-devil from Hot Shot number 1. Right there. Look at that. Little she-devil there. Obviously, when we moved, so I used to live in Orlando, Florida, and when my wife and I moved back to that area in 1996, 97, George lives in Florida. I won't totally out the city he lives in, but it was close to where we live. So Helen and I went out to dinner with George and his wife back then, had a nice dinner, went back to their house and hung out for a little bit. I got to go up into George's studio, which George's studio is probably about as big as the room I'm in right now. And the thing that I will never forget about going up into that studio, and I assume it's the same, I believe he hasn't moved. The thing I'll never forget is, so like my drawing table in my room is in a corner facing a wall. So I face a wall. And then when I look to the left, I have another wall with a table next to me where I keep art supplies and stuff, whatever. I remember walking into George's studio, nice big room, adorned with art and stuff, but his drawing table was like right in the middle of the room. No walls around it. He had his drawing table in the middle of the room. He had a tabaret next to his drawing table with art supplies and stuff. So, he could grab his pencils and inks and stuff. But it was just weird to me because I've never done that. I've always had my drawing table kind of facing a wall. And always facing a wall with another wall next to me. So like in a corner. But his table was just smack dab in the middle of the room. And it just was, I don't know, it was cool. And there's photographs out there showing that as well that you can probably find of him from doing interviews and stuff. Look at this. George drawing Oracle number 1's Death Star. It says pencils by Perez. Little shower scene right there. Look at George getting after it. Bow chicka wow wow. George early 20s getting after it right there. What's up, Alice Norman? Hello. Voy.fyi. Are you a bot? Are you a real person? Here we go. The original Teen Titans from 1983 San Diego convention book. Check that out right there. That's pretty cool. Oop. There we go. That's really cool. And doing the math on George, I'm obsessed. It's really weird. I'm always obsessed with how old or the age of artists that influence me and stuff. So for instance, John Byrne, for those that don't know, Stat Zero in the house, morning to you as well. John Byrne was born in 1950. So it's really easy to do the math on John. John turned 71 this past year. His birthday is actually in July, right before after my brother's birthday. And George Perez is 4 years younger than John Byrne. So George is 67 this year. So in 1983, John Byrne was 33. George Perez was 29 when he did that drawing I just showed. AJ says, don't remember who it was, but I once read an interview where the artist recommended putting your drafting table in front of a window to utilize the natural light. Yeah, I've had that. I've had my drafting table that way before, but then I get distracted really easily. And when I'm using a light box, sometimes that light coming in diffuses the light box some. So it doesn't work out that well for me. George is known for doing this. I've done this as well a few times. He'll draw a fan in the book. So here is a fan that collects George's original art. So he drew him in issue 50 of Teen Titans. That's pretty cool. But so going back to when I was a kid, looking through this, once again, George was only 29. Well, he was only 31 when this book came out. And as a 15-year-old, I'm like, wow, that just seems so old, but it's not, I love these as a kid. This is where I love doing character design stuff this way. Seeing these character designs, let me get my fingers out of the way here. So seeing that character design, I just love that. And of course, Harbinger, I believe that's her name right there. Love these character designs so much. Let's see. Here we have the first appearance of the Monitor in Crisis. Once again, another great character design by George. George really hitting on all cylinders with this stuff. Sounds like somebody's busting my chops. Nassar says, you were in your late teens, 1985. I was 15. That's not really late teens. Nasser, that's more mid-teens. You're right, Andy. 35 isn't old. However, I see what you did there. Busting my chops. So here we go. Here's an uninked early battle scene between the Man of Steel and the Amazing Amazon. This looks like it's when George first got into the business. Or not even. I don't even think George was professional when he did this drawing. So this book is great because you get to see some fan art. And fan art is art done before breaking into the business. So I thought that's really cool. Love that stuff as well. I think this shows some of the art from some of the game stuff he did. Here's an illustration done by George for an article about golf in National Lampoon. Check that out. Little known gem if you're a George Perez collector. George Perez. You get that art right there. Going through, Jericho. I love the Jericho design that he did back in the day. Here's the Jericho character design. Hopefully that'll tighten up. There you go. Love that Jericho design. And it's funny because excuse me, I got something in my eye. No, it's not a tear. Rob Liefeld says that he's a huge fan of George Perez. He met George when he was in his teens, probably a little older than me, maybe a little younger than me, actually. And he's always been a big fan of George and stuff. And the way Rob is constructing his figures now, when Rob first started on the scene, he was really Art Adams influenced and kind of Michael Golden-esque and stuff. And his proportions were really over the top superhero. I really enjoy that early Rob Liefeld stuff. But now Rob's stuff is actually more restrained and more, you can see some of the George Perez influence in the way Rob draws legs. At least I think so. I could be wrong, but I think so. So here we go. Great chapter title here, The Early Darn Good Artist. So this is going to show some of George's early work. This is the Man Wolf. So, okay, so it says here George started out around 1974 at Marvel Comics. So George was like 20 years old when he started working at Marvel. Val says Rob's a good friend of Fraga. Yes, he is. Rob and Dan are good friends. So look at some of this original George art. I believe this is inked by Klaus Janson. So you got Klaus Janson inking early George art. That is just super cool combination right there. Let me see. What is this one page from? Here we go. Creatures on the Loose 33 is what that's from. So it looks like, it doesn't say, it might say in the text, I haven't read this book in a while, but that looks like Klaus Janson inking. And that's from Creatures on the Loose 33. The Keen Teens. Another nice play on words. The Keen Teens, right there. And we got the cover to Teen Titans #4. The Justice League of America popping in right there. Look at that. George did, I don't have examples of them, but George did some great hold on. I will take care of that. Hey, Nasser is allowed to be on my channel, so please, if somebody hid Nasser, please unhide Nasser. Nasser is allowed to be on my channel, so let's I don't want to take care of this while I'm working, but let me see here. Oh, Val, unhide him, brother. There you go. Thank you so much, Val. I appreciate it. We like Nasser. I like Nasser. I had a good conversation with Nasser. We have good conversations and stuff. Nasser is more than welcome to bust my chops. He's a humorous fellow, and I bust his chops back too. I mean, he's a young dude, and you know, he's a young gun, and you know, he's still wet behind the ears. So that's the fun about Nasser. Everybody picks on him. So Ethan picks on him. We all pick on him. It's fun times. Let's see. Oh, here's a great panel of Donna Troy. I don't know what's going on there, but George has really got that going down. Look at that. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. Craziness right there. Good stuff. I don't have the whole Teen Titans run. I should actually just break down and buy like the omnibus of it. Here you go. This is what George, before Kevin Maguire, who really broke out on the scene and was known for his fantastic facial expressions and I guess you could say different unique faces for characters. George Perez, baby, was doing it first. Look at that. Teen Titans lineup, the different characters, they all are unique and stuff. You just got to love that. Look at that lineup of the Titans. All unique to themselves, just gorgeous facial expressions. George made me crush on Donna Troy when I was a kid. That's cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's get to some more fun stuff here. George, in search of Perez's storytelling. Here's a very early shot. Let's see. An early battle scene done for Marvel's Black and White magazine. So check this out. There's no date on this, but I would assume it's around 1974. Look at that. Early George. Right there. You can see all the makings of George. Nasser testing. So there you go. Okay, kids. Play well, kids. Play well. I mean, honestly, the only time you need to really mess with somebody in the chat is if they're spamming. If they're not spamming, or if I don't call it out specifically, it's all good. Anyhow, let's go back, look at more of this stuff. Avenging artistry. So here we go, talking about George's run on Avengers. Some of my favorite stuff. One of my favorite issues of Avengers, drawn by George and inked by none other than Joe Rubinstein. Now, a lot of George's issues of Avengers were inked by Pablo Marcos and Dan Green, who I thought both did great jobs. But hey, Paul's in the house. What's up, Paul? What's up? But Joe Rubinstein inked one issue of the Avengers, and it is one of my favorite issues, which I did bring out to show you guys. But here's a great shot of the Beast. I believe that's just in pencil, and it's darkened up. This literally has, I believe, one of the shots I'm talking about. You know what? I'm going to save it for the full color comment. Let's see. Not quite sure. Here we have Logan's Run. George did the adaptation of Logan's Run. Here's a great pencil piece from it. Check that out. Gorgeous stuff. Glad to know you're doing good, man. Paul, I shouldn't say man, because then people are like, and then of course, George drew some Fantastic Four stuff. Here's a portrait from 1982. So George did this when he was 28. That's a 28-year-old George Perez drawing the Fantastic Four. I think this is where I got my love of drawing superheroes just doing normal type stuff, is George. And this is what I love about comic books of this time period. These guys aren't wearing regular clothes. They're in their costumes hanging out. And that's how it should be. Was Logan's Run a Treasury edition? That's a good question, AJ. I don't know. I don't think it was, but it might have been. Here's a great shot. I have this issue. I didn't pull it out. Love that character. Texas Twister right there. Love that. Great inks. So here's a combo that with George's pencil work, I never really thought would gel, but man, Joe Sinnott inking George's work was fantastic. I believe the splash page is inked by Joe. Look at that great splash page right there. Look at that. Boom. Oh, dude. Speaking of super chats, I never did get to congratulate you for all your hard work getting here, Andy. Well done. Thank you so much, Statistical Zero. It is super appreciated. Man, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If I had unlimited time, there are so many obscure Marvel characters I would like to draw, and Texas Twister is one of them. And then we get to the checklist. I love this. This checklist, when I was a kid, this checklist blew my little mind because I was like, look at all the work this guy did when he was, just starting out, and he did so much work. He had a great run on Justice League, inked by my buddy John Beatty for a few issues. Those Justice League issues are great. He did a few Marvel 2-in-1s. Yes, Marvel 2-in-1s inked by Gene Day. I thought Gene Day inked George so well. I'm flipping through because there's a gallery back here. So this is the good stuff. The portfolio. Let's look through some of George's portfolio from back then. Val would like to see my take on Conan. The closest I got to Conan was Claw for DC. As I would always say, Claw is Conan, except with a mangled hand. But other than that, Claw's basically Conan. So if you want to see my Conan, go get yourself Claw, and you'll basically see it. So here we have a back cover for the upcoming Normal Man number 11, penciled by George Perez and inked by Jim Valentino. Check that out. That's from Normal Man. Hopefully the camera, come on, focus. There it goes. And then this is Justice Machine. A Justice Machine character right there. How cool is that? Oh, this is cool. This is, let's see, a page done in 1973, shortly before George became assistant to Rich Buckler. So George got into the business by assisting Rich Buckler. So this is 1973. This is 19-year-old George artwork right here, a sample page when he was 19. My 19-year-old sample pages didn't look this good. So that's super cool. I didn't notice Claw in that series. There was this sexy redhead in the comic. I couldn't take. Well, that was the Red Sonja Claw, but there was a 6-issue Claw series by himself, which I'm sure you know of, and you're busting my chops, AJ. It is a trade paperback. What's up, Hyper Kaiju? Love me some Perez. Who doesn't? What's up, Comic Talk with Pops Van Zant? Love that screen name. Let's see. Here's some more. This is above 2 pages for Science Digest. I'm sure George was really in his teens when he did these pages from Science Digest. How cool is that? Cadaver Comics. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. This is cool. This is a Marvel team up. He did a Marvel team up portfolio. Probably the only time he drew the Banshee, one of my favorite X-Men characters, the Banshee. You got Spider-Man, X-Men and stuff. Could you imagine George doing a long run on X-Men with Terry Austin doing the inks? Terry Austin did the inks on a X-Men annual that George drew, and it is just phenomenal. I mean, John Byrne was fantastic on X-Men, but man, George was great too. So here we go. Here's a promotional illustration done for Mayfair Games, superhero role-playing game. So this is what I think my chatter was talking about. This is just in pencil. Look at that. Once again, if I had unlimited amounts of time, this would be so fun to scan, print out in blue and ink. Or if somebody wanted to pay me to do it, because I'm a whore. And I work for the money. I work for the money. Look at that. Look at those pencils. Trying to see if there's a year. No, there's no. He didn't even sign it. I would love to have seen. Well, I know it was published, so I have to do a Google search for that. Look at this fantastic 4-piece by 19-year-old George. 19-year-old. Good stuff. Good stuff. Who's the best inker on George? George. I really liked what George did over himself. I like Gene Day a lot. He's had a lot of good inkers. You're not a whore, Andy. You're a working girl. Exactly. Why am I saying that? Saint Ravage, hello. Hail chat, getting ready to leave for work, but I want to say back first, man. Exactly. Back it now. And hey, look, there's the link. So there you go. And then here, this prints 3 pages of the unpublished Justice League Avengers book. And I actually have pencils I download to the whole thing. So I'll see if I can find those to show you guys. That's it for this book. I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite comics now that George worked on. I'm not going to flip through these or anything. Oh, wait, before we get to these comics, I got George to sign these. Woohoo! I'm fanboying. Did you guys know that George did a set of postcards? he did a set of DC postcards. I love George's inks over himself. Here we've got Superman. Dun, dun, dun. And look at that. This is George's signature right here. I got all these signed by George. I will say I was a little, when George signed them, I was expecting the signature that he uses on comics, but that's not how he signs things. So there's Superman. Here's a Wonder Woman, of course, gorgeous Wonder Woman. Can't forget his Wonder Woman run. Oh, JP Roca says those postcards are sweet. Yes, they are. And Val's nailing it. The Superman looks legit. It is. I have some of his work, Teen Titans Crisis, JOA Avengers. I've got that. Check that out. Nice group shot here. I love this guy right here. Steele, I think is his name. I got a lot of my early drawing proportions from George's and John Byrne's work with the realistic size figures and stuff. Here we go. Firestorm with the insane city background. Look at that background. It's insane. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. Insane in the membrane. I don't know who that chick is, but I know who this is. Zatanna. Oh, yeah. I think I'm missing one of these, by the way. I don't think I have the whole set. Red Tornado. Oh, yeah. Oh, and when DC put out the Who's Who of the DC Universe and George was doing the wraparound covers, holy crap, that stuff was awesome. What's up, Pedro? Hail, Comicsgate. Oh, yeah, Black Canary. Look at that. Even silhouette buildings in the background. George is like, let me amaze you with my detail. Nice flowing hair. I can't remember the pen point George used, but I did read in an interview what pen George was inking with. He was using a dip pen to ink with, a quill. And I tried it out when I was a kid because I loved it so much. Here we have the elongated man. Oh, when George came back to Action Comics, where he did his take on the famous cover of Superman flying over the city. Oh, man. Love that. Brett Breeding did the inks. Love that so much. Wait, who? You talking about this chick? That's Ralph Dibny, Elongated's wife, Sue. This is a great one. Oh, wait. Oh, no, never mind. Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Of course, Sword of the Atom. Look at that gorgeousness right there. Stat Zero says, never really thought about it, but he and Byrne Garcia Lopez do have similar styles, all very classical. Oh, the blonde one? Oh, you mean Black Canary? That's Black Canary, baby. Black Canary. This is a cool take on Martian Manhunter with the stars in the cape. Nice design work there. Of course, we've got the flickety flash. Oh, yeah. Running at super speed, changing into his costume. Love that. Love George Perez's figure construction. And then this is a toss-up. Two of my favorites right here. I'm going to save one for last. This is one of my favorites. Aquaman. Come on, there we go. Love that pose so much. That is just so cool, that Aquaman. I copied that pose as a kid so much. Just love that. And then last but not least, can you guess what character is last? It's one of my favorite characters. These are all DC, so figure it out. I'll let you try and answer in the chat before I show it. But live, from New York. No, it's not live from New York. One of my favorite characters. Are we ready? You got it, baby. Green Lantern. I don't have the Batman card. Can you believe that? I'm missing one of the Batman cards. This is my fave. Look at that. George did three covers on Green Lantern back when Joe Staton was drawing the book, and I bought them just because of the covers. Man, I wish George would have done some interior work on Green Lantern. I love this so much. Classic. See, when I see stuff like this, it makes me want to draw a First Man in the same pose, same design and everything, and pay homage to George drawing First Man like this, and then back here do like Earth or the First Man symbol or something. I don't know. I just love that so much. So I thought I'd show you guys those cards. Put them back inside my little my bag that I keep them in. Now, before we go, I'll show you some comics of George's. Needless to say, Teen Titans #1 beat the crap. Look at that. Totally beat up copy of Teen Titans #1. I got it in this thick Mylar. I mean, this thing, look how ratty it is. Oh, it's so ratty. Oh, total garbage condition, but I don't care. It's Teen Titans #1. Got just gorgeous artwork in it. I mean, this is how you start a #1 issue right there. Look at that. Look at all those people. That's how you start a comic book right there. So Teen Titans #1 had to be on the list, of course. One day I'll get a nice copy of it. But until that day comes, this will do just fine. Another Teen Titans. That's ratty. You got that right. It's not ratty. It's love. That's right. All the happy things with Jack Savinka. You got that right. Oh, yeah. Starfire and great reading. It is. But here you go. New Teen Titans. Now you're like, why do you like this issue so much? This is issue number 39. Dude, George pencil and inked this issue. And when I saw this, I fell in love, man. When I saw that as a kid, boom, my little brain. This was 1984. George was 30 years old when he penciled and inked this. 30 years old. Look at this gorgeousness right there. Man, this is my favorite issue of Teen Titans because of that spread right there. Love this issue. George knows how to pack it onto a page. You know, this is just gorgeous stuff. Hold on, I'm looking for oh, here we go. Right there. Just classic. Yes, it's issue number 39. This is the Avengers issue that is my favorite. Favorite Avengers issue right here. George pencils, Joe Rubinstein inks. I thought this issue came together so well. It's issue 194. George known for these shots. Look at that. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous right there. But I remember reading this as a kid, and there's this one scene, and like I said, this is when the heroes hung around the mansion, and they were wearing costumes. They weren't like, oh, guys, we're not on a fight. We don't need to wear costumes. No, this is my favorite page in the whole book right here. Captain America. I hope it focuses. Come on. Captain America, Miss Marvel, outside, snowy day. These kids are like, we're going to throw a snowball. Captain America's like, you're going to really throw a snowball at us? You boys want your ass kicked? Boom. Smashes the snowball. Just a nice little scene of storytelling right there. Ends with that nice close-up. Love that Captain America face. Just love this. You got Iron Man doing some stuff. This is my favorite issue of the Avengers right here. Vision getting all visiony in a danger room type setting. I just love this book so much. I think Joe Rubinstein was nailing it, hitting on all cylinders. Joe inked some of the Infinity. What was the first one? The Infinity Gauntlet. Joe inked over George, and that stuff was just gorgeous. Look how much he puts into these panels. Look at that little panel and how much work he put into that little panel. Just killer. That nice face of that guy yelling. Got all the George trademarks. Just love this stuff so much. So that's my favorite issue of Avengers. Thought I'd show you that. And then last but not least, by any means, the dream that came true finally. Justice League versus Avengers. Pencils and inks by George Perez. Chauncey's in the house. Hail, Andy in chat. I might have missed it, but what Perez story arc is the #1 must read? Ooh, #1 must read. I'd got to go with the first 12 issues of Teen Titans. I'd say the first 12 issues of Teen Titans is awesome. And then they started Teen Titans over 5 or 6 years later, something like that, on nice Baxter paper, and George started off inking that stuff himself too. Oh, look at that. Perez doing pencils and inks, just hitting it out of the park. All the classic versions. The only thing that would have made this better is if Hal Jordan was in it. I saw these originals when George was working on this stuff. Man, if Hal Jordan was in this book, I would have lost my little mind. I just love this book. Yellow Jacket's in it, so, you know, it's got that. I'm going to have to leave that out to read. But, of course, one of the coolest things that George has ever drawn, I mean, I might be a little biased here, but one of the coolest things George has ever drawn, you know, it's right here. I mean, let's be real, guys. George drawing First Man. Well, oops, sorry about that. That is one of the coolest things George has ever drawn. Let me see here if I can find one thing, other thing. Let's see. Coolness. Going to have to dig out my Teen Titans books. They're great. Nice. Well, George is retired, so. Oh, man, that's awesome. I inked it. I don't have a scan of the inks, but I inked it because it came out. I originally published this in my Drawing Dynamics comics book, and I actually did ink it. So here are my inks over it. So Perez pencils, Andy Smith inks. So there you go, right there. I should get that colored, and that would be cool colored. It may be printed. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, another super chat. Thank you so much. Some of my best comics memories were George Perez. TC, thank you so much for $1.99. I really appreciate that. I'm have to find me that run. Always admired Perez, but only bought his cross-gen stuff. Oh, you got to go back and get his other stuff as well. You can get this featured tier on First Man 2. The program book has that George Perez art in it. So if you want to get the program book in the featured tier. But before I leave you guys today, let's run through the pencils to the original Justice League Avengers. I was able to get these scans. That's page 1. Here we go. These are the pencils from the original Justice League Avengers. I mean, this is just great stuff. George, early 80s, probably not even 30 years old when he did this stuff. You know, if DC and Marvel could get their act together, they should pay to have this stuff inked and then put it out. And they should pay to have this stuff inked and put it out and hook George up with the proceeds. All the proceeds to George. Because there's 20-some pages here. Get this stuff inked. Scott Williams, maybe. Just saying. Or a plethora of inkers. And put this stuff out. Get it inked and colored as a nice little one-shot. And give all the proceeds to George. How cool would that be? Some of this stuff did make it to the ink stage. This was partially inked. I believe Dick Giordano was supposed to ink this stuff. So some of this stuff did have some ink slammed down on it. Slam down on it. Slam down on it. It's sad, but AD, yeah, I know. F Marvel and DC, why don't I do it? I don't own the rights to it, man. Oh, another super chat. $5 from Dr. Mass, Retro Elixir. Thank you so much. Congrats. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I've never seen an artist treat a 9-panel layout with ease. Oh, dude, exactly. Exactly. George could do this stuff. Look at these pages. Look at this stuff. Hyper Kaiju says, I like how Andy goes from singing Cypress Hill to Kool and the Gang in a span of 10 minutes. You know it. I have a very eclectical taste. Oh, and then we get the DC guys coming in. Oh, yeah, baby. I'm getting all juiced up. I can't wait to sit down and draw me some funny books now. Look at this. Where the hell's Hal Jordan? Something's wrong. There's no Hal Jordan. There he is. There's my man, Hal. Right there. Aquaman, the Atom, Hawkman. Yeah. Look at these. Look at these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people. There are 14 people in this bottom panel. Streams like this get me excited, man. You going to put a George Perez tribute page in First Man 2? I don't know. Not a bad idea. Page 13. Oh, split page with the teams. Adams, what is up? Look at this ship. That is George Perez ship right there, baby. Love the way George does tech. Roll call. Dun, dun, dun. If I did a George Perez tribute page, what would you want to see on it? I guess is my question. My man, Star Fox. Mm-hmm. Oops. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Batman. Batman. That's right. Everybody click the like button. Yeah. Tomorrow I take my kid to work, so no live show tomorrow. Look at this. He's giving it to Captain America. He's like, take that in the face. Take that in the face. I love this page. I might have to, this would be a fun panel to print and ink right here. Just this one panel. More fighting going on. Mm-mm. No, he wasn't. George was a timely dude, man. He got his stuff done on time. You'd have to draw every first man character one panel, if possible as small as one panel in a night. Oh, yeah, there you go. You could homage one of George's iconic pieces or just print George's first man art. Oh, that's true. That's true. That's not bad. Do you smell an inking stream in the future? Oh, that's not a bad idea either. Maybe. More of the fight. Oh, look at that. Captain America. Swinging his mighty shield. Captain America. Oh, that's it. That is that's all that was drawn. 21 pages. That is all that was drawn of this stuff. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. So yeah, that's all that was drawn of this stuff. 21 pages of this stuff was drawn. Wowzers. 21 pages. 21 pages. I mean, if Marvel and DC could get their shit together, it would be awesome to have these pages inked, colored, put out as the Justice League Avengers that never was. DC and Marvel should get their shit together. I'm calling you guys out right here on stream. The powers that be, let me straighten myself up. Look right into the camera. The powers that be at DC and Marvel, honor George Perez. Get these 21 pages of pencils from the original Justice League Avengers, have them inked by either one person or some of the best inkers in the business, have the book colored by one person or the best colorist in the business, put it out as a nice deluxe hardcover, and give all the proceeds to George Perez and his wife. He's done so much for this industry. He deserves it. You know he does. Put your differences aside and get this book done. It would be a monster seller. There are good scans out there for everybody to work from. You can probably hunt down their originals. This should be done for George. Amen. All right, back to some questions. Rob sold those years ago, from what I know. One page with the cast of the book standing in a group looking up at the reader, though the first man Perez image inked and colored could be good. Yeah, that's true. Go back it there. Mic drop. Yep. I wouldn't hold my breath. I know. I'm not holding my breath. I'm just saying that would be cool. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this. If I do real quick, if I do use this, I might ink it again. I inked this back in 1997, 98. So if I do what you're suggesting, I might ink it again. So this could be the inking stream, is me inking this again and then maybe getting it colored and, maybe, who knows? You never know. DNA show today, not today, Wednesday, we'll do the DNA show. But yeah, do it. So I might ink this again and then maybe get it colored up and put it out there. What the heck? Do it for George, Johnny. Do it for George. I hear you. Oh, yeah. That would be kind of cool. Maybe that would be kind of cool. So there you go, guys. Here's the campaign. I got a couple more backers. Guys, I'm 9 backers away from 600. 9 backers away from 600 backers. Let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. Please share the campaign around. 9 backers away, guys. I appreciate you all so much. And what's this? Your boy Zach has an answer for that. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. And thank you, American Comics, for joining the show. Thank you all for joining the show. Let's get this to 50K. Over 600 backers. Get it to 50K. At 40K, we unlock the stretch goal of the First Man. I'll show you guys. $40,000. Oops, too far down. These are the stretch goals we've got unlocked. We got the 4x6 oversized trading card unlocked. We got the metal penumbra bookmark unlocked. We've got the 7x10 mini print unlocked. And at 40,000, we get the die cut sticker of First Man. So let's get that baby unlocked. And at 50K, I will do 20 head sketch cards and insert them randomly into the packages. And these are trading card size. So there you go. Oh, doing anything for anyone, DC or Marvel. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know you're right. It just hurts because that's what DC and Marvel should do. That would be the right thing to do. But guys, go back. First Man, get volume 2, get the Art of Andy Smith, or just get volume 2. And until the next show, I'm bringing this back. Bye, everybody. Go ahead,